that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous, that you're not going to have income tax to pay.
Today, we pull back the curtain and expose a special guest whose identity has remained shielded in the shadows of controversy.
The studio smelled of copper and stale coffee, the kind of heavy odor that settles when tension hangs, like a storm cloud. Lights blazed overhead, white and unrelenting, casting translucent shadows across the faces in the audience. Somewhere in the back row, someone had quietly become ill, yet the room held itself in a taut silence, as if acknowledging any disruption would shatter the fragile balance. Every breath felt measured, every movement amplified by the invisible weight pressing down on the space. A center, a man sat across from the desk, rigid in posture, fingers gripping the armrests with a force that threatened to snap the wood. Around him, the atmosphere pulsed with anticipation. Time slowed, moments stretching unnaturally, until it seemed the room itself had learned to hold its breath. Every gesture, every blink became amplified. The audience's unease was almost physical, a low hum of awareness that something monumental was unfolding before their eyes. Behind the desk, a single folder rested, thin and innocuous, yet charged with the potential to unravel the carefully constructed reality that had been presented to the world. The papers inside were ordinary on their surface, yet they contained proof, irrefutable evidence.
We expose a special guest whose presence here is as shocking as the secrets they are about to reveal on this very stage.
The space between silence and revelation became almost unbearable, a liminal zone where every eye darted, every heartbeat felt like a drumbeat of impending change. The man in the center remained unwavering at first, projecting confidence, reiterating narratives of unmatched intellect, claiming abilities beyond ordinary comprehension. But the rhythm of his declarations, circular and relentless, began to falter as the folder slowly became the focus of attention. The audience, sensing a shift, leaned in collectively, drawn to the inevitability of confrontation. It was a rare spectacle, the collision of perception and reality, where every falsehood risked immediate exposure. The documents told a simple story, yet one loaded with implications. Scores that had been touted as extraordinary, even genius, revealed themselves as merely competent, average within acceptable parameters. The distinction between exaggeration and truth crystallized with each page, each statistic stripping away the inflated image carefully curated over time. Observers felt the impact as a physical presence, the dissonance between claim and fact rippling through the room.
You, I assume, have a group of advisors that you discuss issues with before.
I do.
I assume. I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just go on your own.
I mean, I like to think for myself.
Disbelief, eyes widening in real-time recalibration. The audience absorbed not just the revelation, but the way it landed, sudden, precise, unavoidable. The initial shock was followed by a tense recalibration of perception. What had been presented as unassailable began to feel fragile, like a house of cards in a gust of wind. And in that fragility, there was clarity. The thin folder, the quiet truth, had pierced through the theater of self-mythology. Physical cues betrayed the unraveling, a tightening of the jaw, a furrowed brow, hands clenching and unclenching, the subtle tremor of a voice unprepared for contradiction. The space became an arena where reality enforced itself in plain sight, leaving no room for evasion. As the evidence settled into collective consciousness, the room exhaled slowly, a release of tension that had been accumulating since the lights first blazed. What had been intangible became concrete. The narrative constructed around genius, exceptionalism, and superiority was stripped to its bones, leaving only verifiable facts. Outside the studio, the effect rippled quickly. Clips circulated online, sparking discussion, debate, and reassessment. Experts dissected the evidence, translating it into accessible terms. Voters, viewers, and onlookers began to question previous assumptions, encountering the rare phenomenon of witnessing reality assert itself against fabrication. Some resisted, clinging to old narratives, but many were compelled to adjust their understanding, drawn toward the clarity the documents provided. Ultimately, the folder became more than paper. It became a symbol of accountability, of evidence over rhetoric, of the fragile line between perception and truth. It demonstrated how reality, though subtle, has a way of imposing itself when presented without distortion. The episode left a lingering impression: the power of transparency, the necessity of fact, and the undeniable impact of confronting falsehood with verifiable proof. In the end, the room emptied, the lights dimmed, and the folder rested quietly, a testament to the moment when narrative collided with reality, leaving no shadow of doubt in its wake.